Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video today is one I've been waiting to do and I'm very excited about doing. Today we're taking a look at my top 5 defensive linemen in the class of 2023. Before we get things started though, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And also go ahead and make sure to check out the other position rankings on the channel. This one with the defensive linemen will be the first of the defensive groups. All the offensive groups along with the athletes are already posted on the channel. Now let's get things started. At number 5, we have Jordan Hall. He's headed to Georgia. Jordan is a 6'4", 320-pound defensive lineman from Jacksonville, Florida. Personally, when I watch Jordan Hall, he looks like he was made to go to Georgia or Alabama. He ultimately chose Georgia, but I say that because it reminds me of so many former Alabama D linemen that Kirby Smart coached in his time there. A guy that's going to eat up the double team blocks and absolutely shut down a gap on the interior. Not only that, he also plays with the nastiness that you need in a defensive lineman. The combination of overall size, then his ability to chase down ball carriers makes him a very promising prospect. That athleticism hasn't really been needed at the high school level because the majority of his success comes with the bull rush and just straight power. And I also can't stop thinking about what a possible duo of Jordan Hall and Bear Alexander on the interior for Georgia going forward will look like. Bear Alexander in 2022 was one of the best freshmen in the country, and he showed out in the college football playoff. Adding Jordan Hall to the mix, very impressive for Kirby Smart. Coming at number 4, from Montgomery, Alabama, we have James Smith. He's headed to Alabama to play for Nick Saban. He's a 6'3", 310-pound defensive lineman. Being 310 pounds, James Smith moves very well and can play all across the defensive line. He's not just a bull rush kind of player, but also has some very good finesse moves that he likes to do as well. I see a lot of Quinnen Williams when watching him play. Main reason being he's a large athlete that has slippery moves to go along with it. Remember Quinnen Williams? He had the nickname Bar of Soap because he would literally just squeeze through the offensive line with a quick move after the snap. The reason I have Smith at 4, behind a couple of other players, is that he sometimes gets too far upfield on run plays. And what I mean by that is he'll use pass rush moves on like consistent plays. And if they run right at you and you're using a pass rush move to get up the field, that gap is already out of the question. Nonetheless, though, even with that, the fact that he sometimes takes himself out of play, nonetheless, he has literally everything you want in a defensive line prospect, especially coming out of high school. And coming at number 3, we have Kelby Collins. He's headed to Florida. Kelby comes in at 6'4", 270 pounds out of the state of Alabama. I'm a lot higher on Collins than most people, but his performance at the Under Armour All-American game was very impressive to me. The week of practice leading up to the game, he was one of the alphas, and he also won Defensive MVP of the game. He's just overall a great prospect, might have the highest motor out of any defensive lineman. He's a very explosive player that can line up all across the line, but will most likely stay on the outside where he can flash the athleticism. He's a great run defender who uses long arms and strength to set the edge. He has a quick twitch to him and very fast hands that he just shows off very well in the run defense. It'll look like he's getting blocked, but then at the blink of an eye, he'll be in the backfield taking on the ball carrier. I really like the type of player Florida is getting here, even if he is a project his first year on campus. Nonetheless, very talented player. And at number 2, we have Peter Woods. He's headed to Clemson to play for Dabo Swinney, another prospect from the state of Alabama. Woods is a 6'3", 280-pound defensive lineman. Now, Kelby Collins, he won defensive MVP of the All-American game, but Peter Woods was an absolute game wrecker. This kid is a force to be reckoned with on the interior. Very high motor, quick hands, and elite athleticism at his size makes him a very attractive prospect. His greatest attribute is his understanding of the position, though. He can constantly get in the backfield with swim moves or just a simple rip move on an interior lineman. Going forward and watching his tape, or I guess going back and watching his tape, but also going forward, he was so good, and he's so good right now that he makes linemen hold him to avoid their quarterback absolutely getting destroyed in the backfield. Problem is, holds don't get called enough and don't get called to the point when it's every single play. Nonetheless, if Peter Woods keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to get a majority of calls and absolutely destroy drives for offenses, especially in the All-American game. He was so dominant the offense couldn't move the ball because of him. There were 2 straight drives when the other team didn't even get a single yard, like net total, because of holding penalties. or taking a sack that Peter Woods had. He's a very explosive player at his size, and I'm sure he'll fight for a starting spot early on at the next level. And coming in at number one of my favorite prospects in the class of 2023 is David Hicks. He's headed to Texas A&M. Hicks is a 6'4", 295-pound defensive lineman from Katy, Texas. David Hicks is regarded by almost everyone as the best defensive lineman because of what he is already at this stage of his career. Physically, he's everything you want in a D lineman, and he hasn't even gotten on a college campus yet. There's no shortage of effort and motor when he's playing. Strength-wise, he's in a great spot and has multiple moves he can go to when playing on the interior. Dominant bull rusher who can also play with some finesse. He looks more comfortable playing on the end of the line where he can show his burst and his chase down ability. At his size, his speed is very impressive. In the run game, he defeats blocks with ease and is a very sure tackler. And just like in 2022, Texas A&M is getting the number one defensive lineman here in 2023 with David Hicks on his way to College Station. And the last thing I'll say about David Hicks, in the All-American games that he played in, he did play at defensive tackle, and he projects at defensive end. I think that was really good for him, even though he didn't put up big stats or big numbers in those All-American games. He also showed that he can go inside and dominate in the run game, and then go on the outside and be a pass rusher. I think that's very important for a defensive lineman to have that flexibility so you can play all three downs. Nonetheless, David Hicks is the number one defensive lineman here in 2023. And that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if this is the kind of content you like to see. Also, go down in the comments and comment your favorite defensive lineman from the class. And I hope you all have a good day. I'll catch you in the next video.